Hello and welcome to the Sports Centre YouTube channel. So me and Carl are here today to discuss the breaking news that the PGMOL, so the Premier League, may or may not be scrapping VAR. Carl, let's dive straight into this one. Now, I don't know what your understanding this is. Now, I've heard a couple of things. So I've had a lot of talk saying that basically this is going straight to a vote. But then I've also just heard quite recently from Alex Crook on TalkSport. He said that actually that's not the case, and that basically what Wolves, because it's Wolves that have triggered this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
And what they've done is they've put it on the agenda for the next PGMOL meeting, which I believe is going to be on the 6th of June. And from the back of that agenda, it will then be decided whether it goes to a vote or not.
yeah. Vote where the Premier League clubs have got to have a two-thirds majority vote to
Yeah,
whether on whichever way they want to go.
yeah.
Yeah,
So as I understand it's not a vote yet. It's basically it's on the table. It's on the agenda to be tabled at the next meeting, and the head of the PGMOL, which I think is it Richard Matthews or Masters or something like that.
Masters. Yeah,
That's the one. Yeah, he's basically got the final say on whether or not it goes to a vote. And like you've just said, if they get two thirds, which is 14 clubs or more, that's it. It's done. It's in.
I just can't. I mean, I don't think it will be voted out if you like, so to get rid of it. I just don't think it'll happen.
I agree.
But I quite like VAR. I don't like how it's used, as in the people that are actually using it. I think if we had actual competent people using it, I think it'd work quite well. But because we don't seem to be able to have anybody that's competent, that leads me towards scrap it.
I think so. I were open to have a bit of debate with you actually, but I think we're pretty much on the same level in terms of I quite like it. I think VAR is good for the game. I think if it's used properly and the people that are using it are either trained properly or use it properly, it's an absolute brilliant thing to have in the game of football. The biggest thing for me is, and especially being a supporter that attends the games, it's the lack of understanding when you're at a game for the fans. Because all you see is a screen come up on big screen saying VAR checking offside. You don't know what's going on. And then if it starts going on a couple of minutes, everyone starts booing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think when you say it's good for the game,
Yeah.
I think it's good for the game in the way that you should get the correct answer or outcome to a decision. But I don't actually do think it is the best thing for the game. I mean, there's a number of things that we could go through where it disrupts the game in of impact of celebrations. You don't get proper celebrations anymore because it's a bit. Is it a goal? Am I gonna do a Luana,
Yeah.
Luana, Luana, and do a couple of backflips, and then all of a sudden it's chalked off and it looks like a tool. There's lack of accountability from any ref anymore because they're just thinking, oh
They
well,
may,
VAR will sort
yeah. They
it.
may as well, not be there for half of it.
They might well not be there. You know, there's there's even the conspiracies of decisions. It's like are certain clubs getting better looked after? I don't really buy into that, to be honest,
No,
but
me neither.
I do think the bigger clubs get the bigger decisions. I think
Yeah.
but that's always been the case, whether it's VAR or just the ref.
Yeah.
Um, I think there is a number of things which doesn't really help. You know, to go back to, like you say, the good of the game, it's better for the game. I do think there's things where it's still is negative, but I would rather sacrifice them things to make sure that we get the correct outcome,
Well,
and
that's my
we
thing.
boil back to the having the competent people running it.
So I completely agree with you, especially on the goal thing. It's hit and miss really. It depends which one where you want to look at it, because you can look at it and think my team's just scored a goal, but it gets chalked off. Or you can look at it from the other team and think, well, actually, I've just conceded a goal, but actually, oh shit, I ain't conceded a goal now, so I'm buzzing because my team's either we're not losing or do you know what I mean? So it depends which way you want to look at it on that one. One of the main things for me as well is you hear all these fans moaning about offside and like, oh, is a toenail offside? Is a toenail? Look, offside, offside. Whether it's a fucking millimetre or it's a metre, you're offside, mate. End of. Offside is black and white to me.
It is black and white, but what's not black and white is they can't decipher exactly when that ball has left the foot or the head or the body to, to align with the player being offside or
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
They can't decipher. So as soon as they can decipher that ball has left that boot or that head or whatever by a hair.
Well, no, but you have to go through frames, don't you? I'll quit the camera.
Well, exactly how good is a frame? So I think a lot more common sense has got to come with it, and it's got to be advantage to the attacker. If it is so tight where it's a toenail, whether it's whatever, we can't see that accurately enough. So for me, it's got to go with the attacker.
No, see, I disagree. And I heard it today somewhere, and someone mentioned about like the Coventry win against Man U. It's like, oh, all them Coventry fans that were bloody celebrating. It's like, well, hang on a minute. Everyone were buzzing about that because it were FA Cup semi-final and it were a giant killing and it were all the romance of the FA Cup. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. What do you want? Do you want romance or do you want the right decisions? And for me,
Yeah, I agree.
I want the right decisions.
I completely agree. But what I'm trying to say is if it's that tight, if it's so tight that you can't 100% decipher that it is offside or onside, which sometimes it might be, you might only be 98% sure, but it's not 100%, not 100%. So therefore, you give that advantage to the attacker. That's what I believe. That's what I think should happen.
I get what you said. I suppose the automated next season, if that comes in, that's going to rule out all this offside kind of controversy. It's just basically the line's going to get done for you by a computer or whatever bloody machine it is that does it, and it's going to be like, well, there's your decision straight away. Like I said, for me, the biggest thing is getting some sort of communication to the fans in the stadium. And it pisses me off because I always remember, and I think, you used to as well, used to go watch rugby league when we were younger, like, 14, 15, 16-year-old. Obviously, it's worked for years and years and years, and it's never been any problem. It works in rugby union. It works in bloody cricket now, where umpires talk to each other. It works, and it's just like, why is football so fucking stubborn that they won't allow this communication in the ground? It just does my head in.
Well, NFL do it. I mean, I know you don't follow NFL. I follow NFL.
Yeah.
And there's umpteen referees, but there's a lead referee, and he's mic'd up, so he's not constantly mic'd up. You can't hear him. You can't hear him the whole game.
Yeah.
But he will be able to turn his mic on and off, so that when there's a decision to be made, he'll click his thing, and he'll say penalty to Man United because blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And turn it off. Done. Everyone in the stadium knows. So you could come on and could say, we're just looking at a potential offside between Marcus Rashford, and Kieran Trippier at Newcastle, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
At least everyone you don't need to hear the full game's worth of commentary.
But then
just a snippet.
It stops all the fans booing. It's all fuck VAR, fuck VAR. It stops all that. And it just completely eradicates it. But I'm with you. I don't think there's a prayer. I don't think there's a hope and a prayer that this is going to get axed out. I think they've spent that much money on it, and ultimately, I just don't think the clubs don't want it either. I think if you drill down into the numbers, the percentages probably say that they get more decisions right than they do wrong. So I don't think it'll come in, to be fair. But something good to talk about.
I mean, as it stands right now, my decision would be get rid. But I'm with you. I don't think it will. I think we've got it, to be honest.
I think we've got it. I just think it needs working better.
And especially because we're bringing in this new system next year, they'll be saying, let's look at this system before we scrap anything.
Absolutely. Totally agree, mate. Sound. Let's leave it there. So, yeah, that meeting apparently, I believe, is the 5th of June. So, who knows? We'll wait and see what comes off the back of that.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, drop us a comment. Let us know. VAR in, VAR out. Let us know. Right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I'll catch you later. See you later.